Hi everyone, welcome to our Yellowstone and Grand Teton trip video. In this video, we will be covering two national parks, the Yellowstone National Park and the Grand Teton National Park, which are close by each other, 1 hour apart. We spent the first 2 days at the Yellowstone National Park and the last day at Grand Teton. So, a little bit about Yellowstone National Park. It's the oldest national park in the world. It's one of the biggest national parks. It's mainly known for two things: the geothermal activities in the volcano, hot springs, and the geysers there, and also for its very well preserved wildlife and, of course, the waterfalls and the nature at its best. We stayed in the small town of West Yellowstone near the west entrance of the park. The first day, we set out to cover the most popular geysers in the park, starting with the lower geyser basin, the most beautiful Grand Prismatic, and the most popular Old Faithful Geyser. The geysers are the result of the active volcanoes that stays beneath the Yellowstone Park. It's basically when groundwater gets in contact with the hot molten rocks, is boiled and moves up and comes through the surface. As it moves along, it also carries some of the minerals like limestone and iron, and that gives the geysers its unique color and formation. Our first stop is the Fountain Paint Pot Geyser. It's known for its muddy and slushy texture, and the red color that you see around it is due to the iron deposit and different types of iron oxides. A couple of miles away from the lower geyser basin is the Grand Prismatic Spring. The feature of the geysers in Yellowstone is that from the parking there is at least a mile of walk to the main geyser, and on the way you can see multiple small geysers as well. The Grand Prismatic Spring is Yellowstone's biggest hot spring and the third biggest in the world. It's known for its vivid colors, and it gets its colors from the microbial mats that lay around it. These mats acts as a prism, diffusing white light and giving the different colors of a rainbow, and giving that the Grand Prismatic Spring the spectacular look that it has. Our next stop was the Old Faithful Geyser, which is a couple of miles away from the Grand Prismatic Spring. Old Faithful is most likely the most popular geyser in the world, and it's known for its highly predictable eruptions. It happens every 45 minutes to 2 hours, and people gather around it to experience the nature's own fountain show. A few miles down the Old Faithful is the West Thumb Geyser. The beauty of West Thumb Geyser lies in the multiple small geysers that face the Yellowstone Lake. They have a great pathway where we can walk around and have an evening stroll with the view of the lake. We were also lucky to spot a few of the elks on our way as well. On our way back to the hotel, we were also lucky to spot a black bear and a herd of bisons. On the second day, we were planning to spend our time at the Mammoth Springs and the waterfalls around the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. A very fascinating part of the Yellowstone trip is the wildlife crossings. This is one such occurrence where a herd of bison is crossing the road, taking its own sweet time, and this is something that you'd enjoy as we drive through the park. Our next stop is the Mammoth Hot Springs, a very popular location in Yellowstone. Mammoth Hot Springs is known for its terrace formation. These terraces are formed by years of deposit of calcium carbonate. Uh, to get to Mammoth Hot Springs, there's a small hike, and on the way you will see multiple terraces. We're now at the Norris Geyser Basin, which is the oldest and the hottest geyser in Yellowstone. The highest recorded temperature here is 237 degrees Celsius, and which is highest for any geothermal activity in the US. After the Norris Geyser, our next stop was the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone and the waterfalls around it. The most popular waterfalls here are the upper falls and the lower falls, and these are some spectacular views that we were able to record. The last destination for the day was the beautiful Hayden Valley. This valley is very famous for its wildlife, and we were able to uh, spot a few bisons and elks on our way. On our last day, we explored the Grand Teton National Park. The highlight of this national park is its snow-capped mountains that has spectacular views. A must visit when you're visiting Yellowstone is definitely the town of Jackson Hole. It's a very small town, but a very happening town. It's got some very nice restaurants and eateries, and a great place to spend your evening.